Hey, what's up guys? John here. A 40% windfall tax is now being enforced all throughout Italy. They're going to be taxing banks 40% on all their net profits. It's pretty shocking. But when we look at Canada, there's even crazier things happening. They're bringing forward massive new taxes. You look at America, we are doing something even bigger. And worldwide, we have to pay very, very close attention to everything. It's all changing. The world's changing. I believe what we're going to start to see here is a massive rug pull on citizens' freedoms and rights. We're already starting to see it, but I believe it's going to get amplified dramatically over the coming couple of years. And having a good accountant, a good attorney beside you is going to be worth more than gold. You don't have to be a millionaire, you don't have to be a billionaire for it, but you should start seeking them out if you are an entrepreneur or business person. You have ambitious goals and targets, because if you're missing out on what's actually happening, it's going to be very costly, to put it simply. Look at what's going on. I'm going to paint the picture very clearly for you here. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on in the world. And if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. Take a look at this. Italy slaps 40% one-off windfall tax on its banks. So for 2023 alone, Italy will tax 40% of banks' net interest margin, a measure of income banks derive from the gap between lending and deposit rates. Now, if you were a bank in Italy and you're going to pay a 40% new tax on all profits from loans, and you're starting to see interest rates rise and you're seeing more and more and more defaults, would you risk your money? Would you lend out that money, have a higher probability of not getting paid back? And if you do get paid back, you're giving nearly half of it to the government? Probably not. You probably wouldn't lend that money. So what is very likely going to happen? We're going to see credit conditions tighten dramatically in Italy. I would believe on home loans, business loans, and other types of loans that are being derived from banks. But look at what's going on here. So they did something called a TLTRO. It's very similar to a stimulus program, a very easy monetary policy that allowed businesses and investors to thrive, low interest rates, having liquidity out. But now that's coming to an end, very similar to America. And you're starting to see these defaults continue to pick up. Now, when we look at what's going on in Italy, right, and then we're now looking at what's going on in Czech Republic. So in Czech Republic, they want to, they're already approved it, the 60% windfall tax on energy firms and banks in November, aiming to raise $3.4 billion this year from profits deemed excessive. Now, imagine if you were a business owner and you're making $1 million, $5 million, $10 million a year, and the government says that's excessive. They always start very, very high, and then it slowly starts to come down to the middle guy, right? To the middle class. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen here. They're going to start big. Everyone's going to say, yes, energy firms, they are excessive. And then the whole conversation is going to be, we need to switch away from these energy firms. They're taking advantage of everyone. We need to go to green energy, right? Everyone knows how this is all going to play out. But $3.4 billion, $3.4 billion, they want to tax 60%. That's absolutely insane, right? This just happened, right? This just happened yesterday. So the same day that Italy brings this out, this is yesterday, August 8th. So both yesterday, they're coming out at the same exact time. Canada, what they're doing yesterday, came out the same exact day, right? They are now doing this, and they're saying that they want to, right here, a 3% revenue tax on online marketplaces, social media, and other online services projected to raise $1 billion annually. Projected to steal $1 billion annually. It would apply to companies with at least 750 million euros in worldwide revenue and Canadian receipts exceeding 20 million. The charge would apply retroactively going back to 2022. They're going to backdate their taxes. I mean, this is absolutely insane. I don't know how people are like, yeah, that's fine, that works. But much of the business community in Canada is now urging the government to hold off. They worry it could prove counterproductive if the U.S. retaliates by imposing tariffs on Canadian goods, saying a trade war would cost them more money than a tax would generate. This would penalize Canadian businesses, right? Well, look at this. Look at what's going on in America. President Biden's fiscal 2024 budget outlines several major tax increases that would add up to nearly $4.8 trillion in taxes targeting businesses and high-income individuals. After $833 billion in expanded tax credits, it would raise nearly $4 trillion in new taxes on net. Additionally, the Biden budget would expand spending $1.4 trillion on net, leading to a $2.5 trillion reduction in the deficit through the end of 2033. Now, they're talking about reducing the deficit $2.5 trillion let's face it, they've increased the deficit about $2 trillion since the debt ceiling was raised less than 60 days ago. So what's $2.5 trillion to them, right? To the world. It's becoming like toilet paper money. But look at this. So increase the corporate income tax rate from 21% to 28%. Quadruple the stock buyback tax implemented on the Inflation Reduction Act from 1% to 4%. Make permanent the excessive business loan limited for pass-through business. Further limit the deductibility of executive compensation. Increase global intangible low-taxed income from 10.5% to 21%. Calculate the tax on jurisdiction by jurisdiction basis. Repeal the reduced tax rate from foreign-derived intangible income, right? And this here, for people making around 400 grand. Now remember they said that it was just going to be people $400,000 and above. That's not wealthy anymore. I mean, if you want to, let's say, live in Miami, you want to live in New York, you're making 30 grand a month. Yeah, sure, that's a lot of money, right? But if you live in one of these cities, you're spending 5-6 grand a month, 7 grand a month just on an apartment. This isn't $400,000, unfortunately, is like the upper middle class today. The high income earners, they're people making 500 grand a month, like a lot of money. Those people, sure, people could say, yeah, that's a high income earner. But 400 grand a month, as the currency continues to erode every single month, it's just getting more and more dollars required to make simple purchases. This $400,000 in a year or 2 years is going to be basic middle class. Look at this. So expand the base of net income margin, NIT, to include non-passive business income and increase the rates of NIT and the additional Medicare tax 5% on income above 400 grand. Increase top marginal income tax to 39.6% on income above 400 grand for single filers, 450 for joint filers. Tax long-term capital gains and qualified dividends on ordinary income for taxed income above $1 million. I mean, you start to just look at this, and then they had other ones where they were going to, tax unrealized gains, basically saying if you bought a stock and the stock you bought for was $10, you pay $10 for the stock, now it's worth $100. There's a $90 gain on that, and then you'd have to pay a tax on that gain. That was also another discussion. And then they had other things such as like pass-through businesses. They had all these different hikes, right? And so all of these new provisions, what do they all have in common? Right? It's a massive rug pull. That's what they have in common, and it's happening worldwide. And now we start to look at this new $80 billion windfall, right? This is going to expand for a reason. They're going to be going after people in a very, very big way. And that's why I think having a great accountant and a really good tax advisor and really good attorney is going to be extremely important going forward to plan for all of these changes. Because that's what the wealthy are doing. The wealthy aren't going to pay any of these taxes. I can almost guarantee you that. Because what do the wealthy have in common? Well, they have teams, they have professionals in place to help them avoid things and problems that are coming down the road. What do the middle class basically do? They ignore the problem until it's directly in front of them, and then they have no choice but to face it. That's not what the wealthy do. They see, what 2024 and 2025 is going to look like. They pivot in advance, and they keep going, and they keep winning, and they keep avoiding. And that's how this whole thing's going to plan out. But look at this fact sheet. This Biden-Harris administration takes action to protect communities. This is how I think all this is all going to go. So they already put $50 billion into this, right? And they said the situation is alarming and it still requires all of society response to ensure that communities have the support they need, prepare and recover from these extreme weather events, which are costing U.S. billions of dollars every single year. And so they are going to continue to increase taxes. Like, for example, look at this. Carbon tax for ships is supported by 22 countries, Paris Summit. They're going to continue to increase taxes. And they're going to say that, we have to do it because we have to save lives. We have to make the world a better place. And if we don't, inequality is going to get out of control. And it's because of, all these different problems. And this is why they need to basically change everything. Like, look at this. So National Oceanic, so here's what they're going to be doing. Launched heat.gov, right? Launch summer ready campaigns, establish a new climate oriented public health office, reaching underserved communities, launched a heat mapping campaign in 154 communities, lowering cooling costs and strengthening the power grid, lowering cooling costs for low-income households, strengthening the U.S. power grid, using greenscapes to provide relief from extreme heat, making HUD-supported housing more energy efficient, I've already spoken a lot about this. They're going to be going after these properties to retrofit these properties to bring them up to code to these new standards. I mean, this is what we're going to be walking into. Now, the last 3 years, it was excessive money printing, very low interest rates, a very stimulated economy. It was not functioning like a traditional economy. It was all fake. It was a artificial fake economy that we were in. And now they're rug pulling it very gradually. And what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a lot of these businesses, a lot of these entrepreneurs, a lot of these property owners that were set up for easy monetary policy not be able to hold through, because we're walking through a storm here. Preparing for school. They're going to be preparing schools for extreme heat, building a community resilience to extreme heat. I mean, this is what they're going to be doing. Everything is going to be changing, and everything is going to be because of this. Mark my words on that. Mark my words on that. That's what we're going to start to see here. But I do think we're going to see a lot of people make a lot of money. I really do. I think we're going to see a lot of people make a lot of money in this, because as they increase taxes, what ultimately happens? People end up getting laid off. Businesses start to repurpose and reposition themselves. They'll start to integrate using AI, robotics, technology, because if they're investing into their business, they don't have as much profits, right? Because they're simply taking their money and reinvesting into the business, taking out loans against this. That's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be positioning themselves for all of these problems. But I think during that, they're going to be positioning themselves to win even more. That's why you don't see these really big companies, kicking back at this. They like this because the middle class, they don't have the ability to integrate the options that they do. So because of that, this is going to be a massive rug pull on the middle class, and a very big problem for those that are not paying attention. But I think it's going to be a very big opportunity for those that are. Even if you're in the middle class right now, even if you are, starting your own first business, paying attention to these policies in advance, doing what the rich are doing in advance, I'm telling you, it's going to be something that you're going to look back on and you're going to say, that was a really good decision that I made. What do you think about this? Drop below, hit the like button, add me on IG, and if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. Go there, schedule a free strategy session, and I'll see you guys in the next video.